And now I'm not muted. All right. All right. How's the breakout rooms? Put in the chat how your group worked together. Give me some feedback. Did it work? Did it not work? I found out there was a problem in another room. I was in one room and we were working together, but I was a teacher, so you know it's a little bit easier when you have a teacher in the room. But let me know if that worked or not. And then let's get down to brass tacks. Okay. All right. So both these problems are the same. So I'm going to go through these problems in about 3 seconds, and then we're going to talk about the quiz, and then we're going to talk about the PBL. I know. That's the problem with we only have class 3 days a week, right? So both of these problems are going to use what we learned yesterday with slope of perpendicular lines. So slope of perpendicular lines, we said yesterday, was opposite reciprocal. Okay, so for example, right here, if the original line is -4/5, then the opposite reciprocal is +5/4. So the negative went positive and the fraction flipped. And that's simple to say. It's a little bit harder to, you know, wrap your head around that it's that simple when we do it. Okay. Oh, look, I'm not sharing my screen, Mr. Brooks. Sorry. Here's what I want you to see. So the original line might be -4/5, and the perpendicular line is +5/4. So opposite reciprocal. And then once you know the slope, and since it's giving you a point, you plug it into point slope form. Okay. All right. So I'll do this one first. And let's see, I'm not reading the chat yet because I'm going, but so the original line is y equals 1/2 x minus 7. And the question I posed to my group was, which part was important? You have 1/2 and you have -7. And I said, which one is the one that we should be looking at? And I mentioned this yesterday, like there's one part that's like super important. It's the only part that matters. And we were split 50-50. Some of us said 1/2 and some of us said -7, and we had different reasons. But the reason only one thing is important is because when you talk about parallel and perpendicular lines, you're really talking about slope, and it's just code for the slope of the line is. That's all it is. Parallel and perpendicular, we're talking about slope. Remember, there's only two parts to lines. There's only slope and y-intercept. So you might think, well, this is overly complicated, but it's just two parts, guys. So if the original slope is +1/2, then notice I'm using this symbol. This symbol is perpendicular. The perpendicular slope, see the shorthand? I love the shorthand. Then you can do this. Therefore, if the original slope is 1/2, therefore the perpendicular slope is -2/1, because I flip 1/2 becomes 2/1. Now I'm going to simplify this as -2 instead of putting it as over 1. Okay, so then I have a point, so I'm using point slope form. So point slope form is just above this, but it's y minus the y value, so -4, equals the new slope is -2, so that's the -2 I just found, times x minus the x value is 3. Okay, and then we clean it up because I'm looking over here, A, B, C, and D, these are all slope intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. And it's the same line. Remember, from the slope activity, we know that this line can be equal to these lines. But, you know, which one is it? And you can kind of already see it because the slope is -2. So it can't be B because this slope is not -2, and it can't be C because this slope is not -2. And the reason they put 1/2 and +2 in is to test if you know the slope of a perpendicular line, because you might know, oh, the original line slope is 1/2, and you might make the mistake of saying that the perpendicular slope is +2, 2/1. So you're doing half of it, but not the other half, because half of it would be to flip the fraction, but the other half is you have to change the sign positive, negative. This one would be parallel. The parallel line would be 1/2 of x. Sorry, not 1/2 of x. It'd be a slope of 1/2. And so maybe you think, oh, you don't read perpendicular very well. Or maybe you think that the perpendicular line has the same slope. So that's why they're very specific about putting these two examples in there. But if you know that slope is opposite reciprocal, then you say no and no. So it can only be A or D. I'm doing my best Khan Academy impersonation right now, so let me know if you guys enjoy it. All right. There are two things to do to simplify this. There's y minus -4, and you might even put this in parentheses if you want, it doesn't matter. But minus a negative sounds funny. This should be y plus 4. So I just make this plus right here. Equals -2 times x minus 3. And we don't like to write it like this, so we're going to use distributive property. So we have y plus 4 equals -2 times x, which looks better because -2x, -2x. And -2 times -3 is +6. And then -4 on both sides. Because anytime you try to get your equation into our friend, y equals mx plus b, you want to get y by itself. Another way of saying it is you're solving for y. You've solved for y. And we've done this from standard form, and we've also done this from point slope form. Remember, there's only 3. So you guys have now done everything that I'm going to ask you to do on the test, which is take any form, slope, intercept, point slope, and standard form, and tell me the slope and tell me the y-intercept, because that's the most important 2 parts. Okay? All right, questions or feedback on that example? I hated Khan Academy, lol. Great. Okay, cool. And it's not working for a sec. Internet stopped working and booted me out. Yeah, I know, there's always one. Okay. All right. Now, I don't have time to go through this because we got to talk, but let's look at the formative look back. So here's number 1. We had an answer of number 1. 5 people said the slope is 1 and they got full credit. One person said it was 7/2. Okay. And then one person said it was 4/5 and one person said it was 6/6. So let me see. Sometimes this is what I do as a math teacher. You guys are now pretending to be a math teacher. You go in and you read the questions, you read the answers, and you think, what was this kid thinking? And sometimes it's like, what was this kid thinking? And sometimes it was like, oh, I see what this kid is thinking. So it's not simplified and the answer is not correct. Yeah, the answer is not correct because 7/2, that'd be like 3.5. The answer is not simplified in slowest terms. Okay. All right. Question. Poll for the group. Poll for the group. Yes or no? Should we simplify this 7/2? Like if you had a rise of 7 and a run of 2, should our slope be 7/2 or should it be something else? Should it be 3.5? Should it be 3.5? Should it be something else? So if you're, let's say, not this, don't look at this, but if you had a line that rose 7 and went over 2, should your slope be 7/2 that you put in your equation? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Everybody should be voting right now. Something else. Somebody says no, I didn't do it that way. I used Desmos. Okay, all right. Kendall, you have to walk me through that. I'm interested. Miley says no. Does anybody say yes? Jazzy says no. Kyomi, Sawyer, Tyler, I'm looking for you guys. Should we leave it as 7/2 or no? Tyler says no, 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 no. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good thing you guys are in school. Yes, yes. 7/2 is fine. I would, if the line did go up 7/2, and remember, I'm not talking about this, but if you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1, 2, so it looks like this. 7/2 is great. It's great. It tells me it's going up 7/2. The only way you can simplify this is if it was like 14/4. Then you would say 7/2. But yeah, that is simplified. Like, I don't want to say 3.5. Why don't I want to say 3.5? Because when I think in terms of slope, I think in terms of a fraction. My fraction is the rise over the run. That's all it is. And I should not complicate that. 7/2 is equal to 3.5 or a million other things that you can write it. But why? Why? You know, my idea with y equals mx plus b is m is slope, and slope is rise divided by run. All right. Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we showed up today. M is 4/5. Let's see. So maybe they counted up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess they missed both. I don't know. 1, 2, 3 over 1. This person said 6/6. This is right, but they did not simplify. Yeah. So 6/6. This is what I wanted you guys to say. 6/6 is correct, but I don't even want to go back in the form and change it to correct. I want you to go back and change it, because if you see 6/6, you should know that that's 1 divided by 1, which is really equal to 1. And should you even put that? I mean, at that point, it should be just y equals x plus whatever. In this case, it's 2. Right? 6 divided by 6 is 1, but you don't write the 1 in front of the x. It's a coefficient. It's if you just have x plus 2, you know that the coefficient is 1. You know that the slope is 1/1, which is the same thing as 6/6. Okay. Somebody says I just guessed. That's fine, because if you're guessing, you're participating. Okay. All right. Pretty good. Okay. All right, guys. Good job. Okay. All right. Okay. There's 3 people missing the ORQ from Unit 3. So I've got all the tests in. We did offer a retake. Several people did take it. 3 people took 2 people took the test, and they went from like an F to an A. And it was like, oh wow, that was a lot better. And then a couple other people retook the test, and they brought their score up slightly, which is good. I am completely in favor of showing your mastery, because mastery doesn't come right away, and you're learning how to learn. And so I'm completely okay with that. There's 4 people missing the find a function PBL. Not calling anybody out, but the 3 of you missing the ORQ and the 4 of you missing the find a function PBL. You guys need to make sure to get this done before spring break, and the ORQ right away. Okay. If you need help, let me know. If you need help, let me know. Okay. All right. We did this in class, and the PBL. All right. So let's talk about the PBL real quick. I already talked to a few people. Oop, look at that. So they're all good. So whatever. I already talked to a few people about the business plan PBL, and we're thinking along the right thing. Okay. For this, we are going to write a business plan. Okay. Why write a business plan? Because I grew up. I've taught at the Rock the last 4 years. And at the Rock, we were all about the CRC, college career ready. We were gaining skills. Maybe you got a skill as a carpenter or a welder. Maybe you got a skill as a plumber, whatever. Well, you guys are out there and you have lots of skills. Like one of you guys showed me a bunch of crafts that are just amazing. And several of you guys have shared your dreams with me about what you want to do. And maybe one day you're like, hey, I would like to try to see if I can start my own business. Be your own boss, if you will. Why not be your own boss? You make it. And when you want to be your own boss, you need a little bit of money to start up. You don't have to have all the money saved. In fact, it's never even expected that you have all the money saved to start a business. That's why we have banks. And the banks want you to start a business. They want to loan you money because they're going to make money off you. You're going to do a good job, make money, and they're going to make money. Everybody's going to make money. Everybody's going to win. Okay, so how much is it? Why do you have to borrow money to start a business? Well, you might need like a van. I don't know. You might need a piece of equipment. Maybe you need a new MacBook, or maybe you need a little bit of money for payroll. Maybe you need money for insurance. Maybe you need money for, you don't want to spend all your life savings to start your business. You don't. Borrow the money. Let's say worst case scenario, you might be thinking like, oh my God, Mr. Brooks, I don't want to borrow money. What if I can't repay it? If you can't repay it, the United States government has a system of bankruptcy that allows you to dissolve yourself so you don't lose your house just because you took a risk. The United States government wants you to take risks. They want you to pursue your dreams. You're going to borrow the money. If you succeed, you'll be rich in life or wealth. And if you don't succeed, you'll declare bankruptcy. They'll wipe the credit off or the debt off. And that's the cost of doing business. And you'll keep your house. You'll keep your house. If you spend all your money on your business and your business fails, you will lose your house. Okay. All right. So we are going to write a business plan. What does a business plan look like? Well, it's not a fancy schmancy thing. It's just a document. And the document is giving the bank what they want to know. Does the bank want to read about you and your life story? No, the bank does not care. The bank only wants to know what you're going to do and why you expect to make money. Okay. So look in the box right here. That's what you're going to say. You're going to say your business name. What does your business do? i.e., how do you make money? So if you're going to be a drone pilot, you'll make money by selling your drone pilot services to farmers to monitor their fields, or to a photographer. Or if you are a car detailer, you're going to make money by detailing people's cars. Okay. Who are your target customers? Are they people in Shepherdsville? Are they old people? Are they students? Are they rich people? Is it poor people? Tell me who's going to be, and then I went in this word business niche. Okay. Have you guys ever heard of business niches before, or niches before? Niche? Anybody ever heard of it? Let's say that you want a car detail. You want to go into a car detail business. Okay. And yeah.
I've heard it in like not business related. I've heard it.
You've heard it in biology?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. Definitely used in biology. So in biology, what is it? There's a pond, and there's a frog that can live in that pond because it's shallow, or maybe it dries out sometimes, and the frog is able to bury itself in the mud and survive when the pond dries out. But other frogs cannot survive that. So that frog has a niche. It can survive there where others can't. If I'm a car detailing business, what differentiates myself from the hundreds of other people doing car detailing? Well, maybe I travel to people's homes and I do it at their homes, or maybe I travel to their businesses and I do it while they're at work, or maybe I have a shop and they can bring it in the shop, or maybe I use a different chemical to clean, or cleaning agent, than other people. Maybe I use all natural cleaners. And so when people are like, man, I want to get my car detailed, but I really don't want to use any harsh chemicals on the environment, they can go to my car detailing business and I've got these environmentally friendly chemicals. A niche is what makes me different, that people will come to me. Okay. Prices. Yeah, that's a good one. Walmart's niche was prices. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. All right, guys, we're going to go a little bit over today. It's going to be all right. Is anybody mad about going over? The G&T, you don't have to do You can do it if you want, but you don't have to do it. It has to be a service business. What do I mean by service business? If you come to me and you say, Mr. Brooks, I have a business idea. I'm gonna make smartphones because I want to make or smartphone cases. I can design and build smartphone cases, and I'm gonna sell 1,000 of these a month. That is not a service industry. That is a retail industry. Retail is the business of selling stuff. You are in the service industry. Why are you in the service industry? Because I said you have to be. In order to make the function fit that is linear, we're going to use a service business. How do service businesses work? They are going to charge you a fee when they show up. So let's say Jazzy's going to make myself a logo, okay? So or a video. She's going to make a video for me. She's going to pay. I'm going to pay Jazzy a fee to contract her services, maybe $100 upfront. And then what happens if the job takes 2 hours to do versus if the job takes 10 hours to do? She does not want to charge the same person a 2-hour job $100 as the 10-hour person $100. She does not want to do that. The person with the bigger job needs to pay more money. So you're going to have the initial fee and you're going to have an hourly fee. Hey, what does that sound like? That sounds like y equals mx plus b. And I already skipped over costs. Right here. Costs are going to do the same thing. You're going to have fixed costs. What are some fixed costs? Fixed costs are costs that you spend no matter what you do. If you do a lot or a little, okay? Price per hour goes up. That's utility. Okay. Price per hour goes up is a variable cost. Right, exactly. Okay. What's an example of a fixed cost? Can somebody give me an example of a business expense you might have that you might need to borrow money for, so that, and no matter how many jobs you do or how many hours you work, you're going to have to pay for that? Can anybody think of a big one?
Maybe
Rent?
utility bills?
Rent. Absolutely, rent. That's the big one.
Someone
If
said
you have
utility bills.
if you have rent, or maybe you rent a van, that costs. Somebody said utility bill. The utility has a fixed aspect to it. One utility bill you might say is the internet. If your internet service is a business expense, you pay that utility, that internet bill every month, whether you use the internet or not, whether you have 1,000 jobs ordered or 0 jobs ordered, you pay that bill. So that would be good. Energy bill, I would say energy bill is a lot more variable, because, like, let's say you're well, no, Kindle, for this service business, I think the energy bill might be more of a fixed cost. Yeah. So normally I'd say it's mixed. There's the fixed aspect of the energy bill and the variable aspect, because the longer you leave the light on, the higher it is. But if you're operating like steam vac, like let's say your business is to go in and steam clean people's houses. First off, you're using theirs, but you're using their energy. But the longer you use that steamer, the higher your utility bill is. Yeah. Okay. All right. What else? Emily, you can do crafts, but you can't do it as selling crafts. You have to do it as designing crafts for people. That makes sense. Car payment. Yeah. If you have a van as part of your business, like you're gonna go detailing people's cars, you have a van or a truck or a car with all the stuff in it. That payment is a fixed cost, because you're gonna pay that no matter what. Water bill, yes, yeah. I don't think you should have a water bill on this unless you're doing something with water, but that is a fixed cost bill. Okay, all right, and then variable costs. What's a variable cost? A variable cost would be like, I'm trying to think. Let's see. I made a list of these. What would be a variable cost, guys? Give me an example. Let's see. How about brain fart. Variable costs. Gas. Okay, the van bill would be a fixed cost because you're gonna have to pay the van payment. But the gas for the van, you're only gonna have to pay if you drive out to a job site. So if you don't, if you work a lot, you're gonna have a high gas bill. You're gonna have a cost of fuel per job. So if you work very little, you have a low monthly expense. And if you work a lot, you have a high monthly expense. Jessica said groceries. Yeah, food. Okay. All right. So, yeah, for business, I mean, you can write off, sometimes you can write off the food as a variable cost. I have a list, but I'm not going to pull up the list, but I'm going to let you guys think about that. Okay. So any questions? Credit card fees. Oh God, let's not go in there, Kendall. That's a big one. We're talking about business. Yeah, look some up. Yeah. Okay. So credit card fees, that would be a variable cost for a family. Yeah, so yeah. All right. So what do? Well, it walks you through it, but the variable cost is going to be by hourly, and the fixed cost is monthly because you pay the fixed cost monthly. The van payment is due monthly. The water bills due monthly. Whatever. So you take your total amount for the month. You find out how to make how many jobs you're going to do. Now that's making an assumption. Remember at the first tasks, we talked about making assumptions. You have to make assumptions. Think about how many jobs you're going to take a month and use that to use a division problem to find the fixed cost per job. So let's say you have to spend $1,000 a month in fixed costs, but you're going to do 100 jobs a month. Well, then your fixed cost per job would be $10 per job. Okay, so you're going to have to do a little bit of converting here with the math. Fixed costs, you're going to list it out monthly and then divide it by the number of jobs in the month, and that's going to tell you your starting amount. And then your variable costs are per hour, because in this case X is number of hours, and you're going to find the total amount of cost per hour. That's going to be your M. And lo and behold, you put your fixed costs and your variable costs together, and you have your linear function y equals mx plus b. Okay. Most of this is going to be thinking. Okay. This should not take you a long time to do, but it should require a little bit of thought through the week, and you want to get started thinking about it now so you can ask questions. You have to ask questions on this. Okay. All right. Or Amazon orders could be variable costs, right? Yeah, supplies. Okay. So if you burn through a lot of supplies per hour, you can think of your supplies needed per hour. So, let's say you were to do crafts, you can think about it. Okay, I can make 20 of these crafts in an hour. So then it'll be, you have to order the 20 of those things you're going to make, or your resources for them per hour. Yes, we might have to talk about that a little bit. Okay. All right. Any questions on the first part of the PBL? I give you all these little links so you can read about it. It has to be a service business, guys. Has to be, unless you can find a way to make it not work with it not being a service business. If you think you can, ask a question. Really, ask a question. This is supposed to be open. You're supposed to be creative. It does not have to be a bazillion hours. I want the business plan to look like a business plan. You're not trying to impress the bank by your font. You're trying to let them read a document. So it should be short, concise, professional. It should not promise the moon. You're not promising the moon. You're just saying, here's what I want to do. And here is my revenue function with how much money I think I'm going to make. Here's my cost function with how much I think it's going to cost me. So I can prove to you that I can be profitable. And the bank knows you're making assumptions. That's all it is. It's an assumption. And the bank knows it's a risk. They loan this money out to people all the time. Half their businesses fail, but you know, that's fine. You just say the first part, there's more. Okay, so it's A through E. So cost function is cost, revenue function is B. You're gonna graph it. What happened to C? Oh, C is profit. Profits just take the first function, subtract it from the second function. We talked about adding and subtracting functions. Part D is graphing it, so you're going to graph it. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then you're going to answer the questions. So I've chunked it into parts. Hopefully that's, yeah. You're not going to make a video for this. No video for this one. Okay, all right. I have to do the learning target. So I'm going to take 2 more of your minutes. I'm so sorry. Okay, all right. This is really easy. Learning target today is graphing linear equations. Okay, so you're going to start with this guy. This is y equals mx plus b. And I don't even think you should write this down, but we already wrote this down once. You start with b. We talked about this at least. So start with b, right? Start with b and then graph slope from b. That's all you do. That's all you do. So what's my b? What is my b? My b is -3. So negative, yep, go down -3. 1, 2, 3, halfway there. And I'd like to do this by hand. As much as possible, I'd like you guys to do this by hand. Why? Because it develops those neurons a little bit differently than on the screen. And certainly Desmos. I'm not saying you can't use Desmos, but I would think that you're missing a lot of brain development doing this on Desmos, okay? And then the slope is 1/2, so up 1/2. Remember, it's rise over run, up 1/2. Now, imagine if this was a decimal. Like, that would be a completely different way for your brain to think about, okay? You can go the other way if you want, up 1/2, and then just use a straight line. You can use a ruler. I recommend using a ruler. Over here, what's b? Oh, yeah, that's what we did. We start with b, graph from slope. So up 2/1, up 2/1. I'm sorry, up 1/2, up 1/2. Misspoke. Nobody called me out. Same thing over here, +2, that's your b, 1, 2, and then -2/3, -2/1, 2, 3. You guys see this slope? It went down. This is a negative slope, it's going this way. This is a positive slope, it's going this way. Always a good idea to kind of check that. Down 2/1, 2, 3, that. How long should this take you? When you guys practice this and get good, it should take you like 5 seconds. It should literally take 5 seconds to do this. That's it. What 0.5 instead of 1/2 as the slope? 0.5 is a slope, but I mean, really, you want 1/2. What you want 1/2 because you want to see rise divided by run. So you can think about it as going up 1/2 each one, but I mean, I like the fraction as a slope, and I want you to like the fraction as a slope. If it's negative, the slope goes down. Yes. I don't know if everybody understands that, but that's true. If the slope's negative, everybody goes down, whatever that means to you. All right. Sorry, I deleted that really quick. And then the last part is this. Whoa, what's this, guys? Can we do this? What's the slope? Whoa. All right, this one I would write down just to make sure you got. You guys already did this in Delta Math. Of course, I'm not saying you gotta graph it, but I'm just saying write this one down. Who wants to tell me what to do? Who wants to say, like, got you, fam? What are we doing? Solving for what? We solve for what? Put it in the chat. Y, that's right. Solve for y. We're trying to get y by itself because our friend is y equals mx plus b. So -16x, -16x. This was the learning target from last week. -4y. Hey, do we ever put 20x? Is this ever going to be 20x? Ever, ever, ever? No, it'll never be 20x, guys. Please do not do that. These are different terms. Negative 16x plus 36. I've not even had to break out a calculator yet. Divide by -4, divide by -4, y equals, and I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna say like, give this guy some love, give this guy some love. And that way I don't forget that I have to divide both. Sawyer says 912. Sorry, I'm not sure what 912 is. -16 divided by -4 is +4. And 36 divided by -4 is -9. Oh, you got the 9. Oh, 912. Yeah, I know, Sawyer. I said it was a little late. My bad. -9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and up 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Do you guys think after this year you could take an equation like this? Oh God, I cannot draw a straight line. That's my fault. There we go. It should look like that. Do you guys think that after oh shoot. Do you guys think that after this year you could graph these by hand that look like this in like 15 seconds? That's my goal. That'd be so cool. I mean, graphing should be like, does anybody watch ASMR? That's what it is to me. Graphing is ASMR. I literally do graphing for ASMR. Okay, all right. That's the learning target. The assignment is in Google Classroom. You guys should not wait till the last minute to do the business PBL, but you guys should not spend a lot of time writing the business plan. A lot of it is just thinking through what is the fixed cost, what is the variable cost, what do I need? What I'm probably going to do is make you turn it in and then make you revisit it. So, you know, you guys are going to have to go through my scrutiny, like, is that the right thing? Can I show you how I use Desmos to warm up? Yes, you can. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording, and if you guys need to go, you can, and if you need to stay, you can. Sawyer, I need to see you sometime today to go over the quiz, unless you got the quiz. Tyler, I'm going to say yes right now, and if I can't make it, I'll let you know. Stop recording.